He offered her safety for the night. But in the morning, she asked, "Will you still keep your word?" The wagon was already burning when Cole Harlan rode up. He did not slow his horse at first. Riders who slowed down at burning wagons in the Cimarron territory either ended up robbed or ended up dead. He had learned that the hard way outside of Laredo, and he carried the scar on his left forearm as a permanent reminder. But then he heard the sound. Not crying, not screaming, so something quieter and worse than both. A woman was pulling boxes from the back of the burning wagon with her bare hands. Cole pulled the reins. His horse, a gray roan named Duster, stamped and snorted at the smoke. The woman did not look up. She grabbed another crate, dragged it through the dirt, and went back in. The flames were eating the canvas top and moving toward the wooden frame. She had maybe 2 more trips before the whole thing went. Cole was off Duster before he finished thinking about it. "Get back," he said. She finally looked at him. Her face was streaked with ash, and her dark hair had come loose from its braid. Her eyes were brown, sharp, and not even close to grateful. "There is a strongbox under the driver's bench," she said. "Help me or get out of my way." He went in. The smoke was thick, and the heat pressed against his face like a flat iron held too close. He felt along the bench, found the iron box, and wrenched it free from the bracket holding it. Heavy, real heavy. He hauled it out then and dropped it in the dirt 6 feet from the wagon, just as the left wheel cracked and the whole front corner dropped. The woman stood over the strong box with her arms crossed, her breathing hard. "Thank you," she said. It came out like she was paying a debt she resented. "You are welcome," Cole said. He looked at the burning wagon, then at the crates she had pulled out, then at the empty road behind her. No horses, no outriders, no traveling companions. Just her, a ruined wagon, and a strongbox heavy enough to make a man's back argue with him for a week. "You going to tell me what happened?" "My driver ran off," she said. 3 men came up fast on horseback. He jumped and rode away with one of them. Left me the wagon, and the horses bolted when the fire started. The men set the fire. One of them did. The other 2 went through my supply crates. She looked at the boxes she had saved. Why, they did not get what they came for. Cole looked at the strongbox. She watched him look at it. "My name is Nora Calloway," she said. "I am traveling to Stillwater Creek. I have business there." Cole Harlan. "Are you a dangerous man, Cole Harlan?" It was a direct question. He respected direct questions. "Depends on who is asking and why," he said. "I am asking because I am alone on a road with no wagon, no driver, and no horse, and the sun is going down in about 2 hours." She did not blink. "And you are the only person who has stopped." Cole looked down the road in both directions, empty in both directions. The nearest town was Ridgeway, and Ridgeway was 11 miles east. Stillwater Creek was another 30 past that. He looked at Nora Calloway. She was standing straight, not shaking. Her hands were burned from the boxes she had pulled out, and she had not said a word about it. "I have a bedroll and enough food for 2 nights, he said. "I can take you as far as Ridgeway in the morning." "Tonight?" she asked. "There is a dry creek bed about a mile north. Good shelter. We make camp there, ride at first light." She studied him the way a woman studies a locked door before deciding whether the key she has is the right one. "What do you want in return?" she asked. "Nothing," he said. She did not believe him. He could see that plainly. He did not blame her. "I give you my word," Cole said. "You will be safe tonight." Nora Calloway looked at the burning wreck of her wagon. She looked at the road. She looked at him. "All right," she said. She picked up one of the crates. He picked up the strong box. They walked north toward the dry creek bed with the smoke from the wagon rising behind them in a thin gray line against the red evening sky. They did not talk much on the way. Cole was fine with that. For he had learned long ago that silence between strangers was not uncomfortable unless someone made it that way. Nora did not make it that way. She walked steadily, kept pace with him, and did not once complain about her burned hands, even though he could see they were giving her trouble. He made the fire small, low flame, easy to scatter if needed. He gave her his second canteen, and she drank without thanking him, which told him she was either very proud or very tired, or both. She set the strongbox against the creek bank and sat beside it. "Those men," Cole said, "they will come back for what they did not get." "I know," she said, "which means they will come back for you." "I know that too." Cole fed a small branch into the fire. "What is in the box?" Nora looked at him across the flame. "Documents," she said. "Land deeds. Deed of ownership to a ranch outside Stillwater Creek. My ranch." She paused. "My late husband's ranch. Given to me in his will. So the men who came today work for a man named Cutter Dell. He wants the land. He has been trying to get it since my husband died 6 months ago." "Cutter Dell," Cole said. The name settled somewhere familiar. "You know him." "I know of him," Cole said. "Enough to know you were right to pull that box out of the fire yourself." The coyotes started up somewhere, out in the dark. Duster shifted at his tether, but settled. Nora wrapped her burned hands in a strip of cloth she pulled from her coat pocket. She had already prepared for this. She had known her hands would be bad before she went into that wagon a second time. She went in anyway. Cole stretched out on his bedroll and pulled his hat over his eyes. "Get some sleep," he said. "I will take first watch." There was a pause. "You said I would be safe tonight," Nora said. "Yes," Cole said. Another pause. Longer. "Will you still keep your word in the morning?" Cole did not move the hat from his face. He thought about the road to Ridgeway. 11 miles. Then 30 more to Stillwater Creek. He thought about Cutter Dell and the men who set fire to wagons and left women to burn with them. "Ask me in the morning," he said. She did not say anything else. The fire crackled low. The coyotes went quiet. Cole lay still and watched the dark through the brim of his hat and listened to everything the night had to say. It had plenty to say. Cole was already awake when the horses came. He had not slept much. 2 hours, maybe 3. With one ear always open the way it had been since he was 19 and riding scout for a cattle drive that ended badly outside Dodge City. He heard Duster's ears go up before he heard anything else, and that was enough. He was on his feet with his rifle in hand before the sound of hoofbeats became clear. 3 riders, coming from the south. "Nora," he said quietly. She was already awake. She sat up from her bedroll with the kind of alertness that told Cole she had not really slept at all. Her hand went straight to the strongbox beside her. "How many?" she asked. 3. She stood up. "The same 3 from the road." "Most likely." He looked at the creek bank. "Good high ground to the east, on low brush to the north. Take the box and move into the brush. Stay down. Do not move unless I tell you." "I can shoot," she said. "Do you have a gun?" She opened her coat, a small revolver, snub-nosed and plain, tucked into a holster against her ribs. He almost said something about that. He decided not to. Stay in the brush until I know what they want, he said. We know what they want. Stay in the brush, Nora. She held his eyes for a moment, and then she picked up the strongbox and moved into the low scrub without another word. She was quiet about it too. Quieter than most men he had ridden with. Cole kicked dirt over the fire and moved to the east bank of the dry creek. He crouched low and waited. The 3 riders came in from the south and stopped at the edge of the camp. They could see the dead fire. They could see the bedrolls. The lead rider held up a lantern and swung it slow. Cole recognized the type before he recognized the faces. The lead man sat his horse like he owned the land under it and everything around it for 10 miles. Big shoulders, duster coat, a rifle resting across his saddle. The other 2 were younger, flatter in the eyes, the kind of men who took orders and did not ask questions because questions required thinking, and thinking was not part of their arrangement. Somebody was here recent, the lead man said. They could have left it dark, said the one on the right. Fire is too fresh. The lead man stepped his horse forward into the camp. His lantern swung toward the creek bank. Cole pressed flat. She cannot have gone far on foot, the lead man said. Woman alone, night like this, she will stick to the road or find a hole and crawl in it. What about the rider? What rider? Tracks coming in from the south. 2 sets of boot prints, not hers. The lead man went quiet. His lantern swung again, and Cole stood up. Evening, he said. All 3 men turned fast. The 2 younger ones went for their guns. Cole had his rifle up and the hammer back before either of them cleared leather. Hands, Cole said. They stopped. Nobody moved. The lead man held his lantern steady and looked at Cole with the kind of patience that came from believing nothing in the world could actually stop him. You are riding with the woman, the lead man said. It was not a question. Just a traveler, Cole said. Now stop to rest. At the same dry creek a woman from a burned wagon would stop at. Dry creek is a dry creek. The lead man smiled. It did not reach his eyes. My name is Vern Loach. I ride for Cutter Dell. That woman has property belonging to Mr. Dell. We are here to collect it. Signed property? Cole asked. What? Does Mr. Dell have signed documents saying the land is his? A deed with his name on it, witnessed and filed? Vern Loach's smile got thinner. That is not your concern. Then we do not have much to talk about, Cole said. Ride back the way you came. Come back in daylight with a lawman and a signed document, and I will step aside. Come back tonight, and I will not. The 2 younger men looked at Vern Loach. Vern Loach looked at Cole. He was running the math. 3 against 1. Except the one had a rifle already leveled, and the dark pressed in on all sides, and men who did math in the dark tended to carry the wrong answer to their graves. You are making a mistake, Vern said. Probably, Cole said. Ride. Vern held for another 3 seconds. Then he turned his horse. The other 2 followed. The lantern bobbed away south until it was just a small yellow point, and then nothing. Cole kept the rifle up until he could not hear hoofbeats anymore, and then he lowered it slowly and let out a breath he had been holding for the last 90 seconds. Nora stepped out of the brush. The strongbox was in both hands. Her revolver was drawn. You could have let me help, she said. 3 against 2 with a lantern, and open ground is worse than 3 against 1 with position. Cole said. You were better cover where you were. She looked in the direction the riders had gone. Vern Loach, she said. He has been to the ranch 3 times since Earl died. Each time with a different offer from Cutter Dell. Each time I said no. He will come back, Cole said. Yes, with more men. Yes. She set the strongbox down. Her hands were shaking slightly, but her voice was steady. That is why I need to reach Stillwater Creek. There is a land attorney there, a man named Gideon Price. If I can get the deed to him and have it filed in the county record before Dell's men get their hands on it, the land is mine in the eyes of the law. Dell cannot touch it. Cole looked at the darkness to the south. 11 miles to Ridgeway. 30 more beyond that. Vern Loach and whatever number of men Cutter Dell decided to send by morning. He looked at Nora. She was watching him with those brown eyes that did not ask for anything and expected nothing. In the morning, she said quietly, when you asked me to wait until morning to ask you, I am asking now. She paused. Will you still keep your word? Cole picked up his rifle and walked back to his bedroll. We ride at first light, he said. He heard her exhale behind him. Just once. Short and controlled. Like a woman who had been holding something very heavy for a very long time and had just been allowed to set it down for exactly 1 moment before picking it up again. The coyotes started back up. The stars were hard and bright overhead. Cole sat with his rifle across his knees and watched the south road until the sky began to go gray. They rode out before the sun fully cleared the ridge. Cole put Nora on Duster and walked beside the horse at a pace that covered ground without announcing itself. Duster was good about carrying double weight, and he was better about staying quiet on hard ground. Cole had trained him for exactly this kind of morning. Nora held the strongbox across the saddle in front of her and kept her revolver inside her coat pocket where her hand could reach it in under a second. Cole noticed that. He did not comment on it. The road to Ridgeway ran east through scrub grass and red clay flats with occasional stands of cedar that broke the wind but offered good cover for anyone waiting in them. Cole stayed 50 yards south of the main road, parallel to it, moving through the brush line. Slower, but less visible. Don't you know this country? Nora said. Some of it, Cole said. How? He walked a few more paces. I drove cattle through here twice. Spring of 78 and again in 81. Different route each time, but same general territory. And before that? Cole looked at a stand of cedar ahead and angled wide around it before answering. Before that is a long story with a short ending, not worth the telling. Nora accepted that the way she accepted most things, without pushing, and they made 6 miles without trouble. The clay flats opened into a shallow valley with a thin creek running through the middle of it. Real water this time. And Cole let Duster drink while he scanned both ridgelines. Nothing moving. Good. He filled both canteens and they pushed on. It was around mid-morning when they heard the rider. One horse, coming from the east, not the south. Cole pulled Duster off the road and into a cedar thicket, and they waited. The rider came through at a trot, on a young man no more than 20 in a worn brown jacket, not looking left or right. A town rider. Courier, maybe. Cole stepped out. The young man pulled up hard. His horse skittered sideways. Easy, Cole said. I am not a threat. Are you riding from Ridgeway? The young man stared. Then he looked at Nora on the horse. Something moved across his face that Cole could not quite read. Yes, sir, the young man said. What is the state of the town this morning? The young man hesitated. Like there are men there. Rode in before dawn, 6 of them, asking about a woman with a strongbox. Cole felt the road ahead close like a fist. Cutter Dell's men? He asked. The young man swallowed. I do not know whose men. I know they have money to spend and a description that sounds like the lady on your horse. He looked at Nora. Ma'am, the sheriff there is an old man named Purvis, and he is not going to cross 6 armed men for any amount of lawful obligation. Nora looked at Cole, and Cole looked at the road east, then at the road behind them, then at the thin trail the young man had come down, which ran northeast through the valley and into higher ground. "What is northeast of here?" Cole asked. "Dry Fork," the young man said. "Small place, 10 buildings. But there is a telegraph there." Cole looked at Nora again. "Gideon Price," he said. "Your attorney in Stillwater Creek. Does he have a telegraph address?" Nora's eyes changed. "He does. I have it written down." "Then we send the deed information ahead. Get Price to start the filing process before we arrive. Even if Dell's men intercept us on the road, the filing will already be moving." "Can that work?" Nora asked. "It has to," Cole said. The young man on the horse was watching this exchange with the look of someone who has accidentally stepped into something much larger than himself and is very carefully thinking about stepping back out. "Thank you," Cole told him. "Ride on. Do not mention us to anyone in Ridgeway." "I would not dream of it," the young man said, and he put his horse into a canter and was gone. Cole took Duster's reins and turned northeast. The higher ground came up fast, red rock giving way to gray limestone, cedar thickening into short-armed juniper and dry grass meadows that made the going quieter underfoot. Duster climbed without complaint. Easter how Cole watched the ridgelines with the focused patience of a man who has spent years knowing that what you did not see was usually the thing that ended you. They hit Dry Fork just past midday. It was exactly what the young man had described. 10 buildings on a dirt street wide enough for 2 wagons to pass each other if neither one was in a hurry. A feed store, a dry goods shop, a livery, a small saloon that doubled as a boarding house, and at the far end, a building with a faded sign that read, "Telegraph and Post." Cole helped Nora down from Duster. Her legs were stiff, and she took a moment to steady herself before she moved. She did not reach for his hand, and he did not offer it. They went into the telegraph office. The man behind the counter was old and thin with wire spectacles and ink on 3 of his fingers. Then he looked at the 2 of them, and then at the strongbox with the studied blankness of a man who had seen enough strange business come through his door that nothing surprised him anymore. "I need to send a message to an attorney in Stillwater Creek," Nora said. "A man named Gideon Price. I have his telegraph address." "I can send it," the man said. Nora set the strongbox on the counter. She opened it with a key from around her neck. Inside were papers, folded and sealed. She found one page, a document dense with handwritten text, and she read from it carefully, dictating the property description to the telegraph operator in a clear and even voice. Cole stood at the window and watched the street. The message took 12 minutes to compose and send. Nora paid with coins from a small purse she kept inside her coat. The operator confirmed receipt and said a reply could come within an hour if Price was at his office. They waited in the telegraph office, while Cole leaned against the wall near the window. Nora sat with the strongbox in her lap and her hands folded over it. The burns on her palms were red and tight, but she had stopped wrapping them. She sat the way people sit when they have decided that being uncomfortable is simply the current condition of being alive, and complaining about it changes nothing. "You were a soldier," Nora said. It was not a question either. She had a habit of that. "For a while," Cole said. "On which side?" "The losing one," he said. She nodded once and did not pursue it. That told him something about her. The wrong kind of person would have pursued it. "Earl fought too," she said. Came back different. Most of them did. She looked at the strongbox. He was a good man before the war. He was still a good man after it. But there was something quieter in him that was never there before. Something that had given up on being loud. Cole understood that perfectly. Meant that the telegraph machine clattered to life. The operator read the reply aloud. Gideon Price had received the information. He was beginning the filing process that afternoon. He needed the original deed presented in person to complete it. But the record of the claim was now officially begun. Any interference with Nora Calloway's lawful ownership from this point forward would be interference with an active filing and would carry legal consequence. Nora closed her eyes for 3 seconds. When she opened them, they were dry and sharp as ever. 30 miles to Stillwater Creek, she said. Less than a day's ride? Cole said. Dell's men are behind us. Yes. And they know we are moving east. Yes. She stood up. She lifted the strongbox. Then we should not be sitting here, she said. Cole opened the door. Outside, the sun was high and the street was quiet, and somewhere to the west, men on horses were doing math again. Cole was going to make sure their numbers came out wrong. They rode east through the afternoon with the land flattening out ahead of them and the sky going wide and pale blue above the juniper line. Cole kept them off the main road, cutting south of it through open range where the grass was short and dry, and Duster's hoofbeats were quieter in the soft earth. Nora rode without complaint. She had stopped asking questions somewhere around the 3rd mile out of Dry Fork, settling into the same steady quiet she had carried since the burning wagon. The kind of quiet that was not emptiness, but more like a door pulled closed against the wind. It kept the cold out. It kept most other things out, too. Cole did not mind. He was thinking about the road. The direct way to Stillwater Creek ran through a narrow pass between 2 low ridges, about 8 miles east of Dry Fork. It was the natural pinch point. But anyone who knew the territory and wanted to get ahead of 2 people moving east would ride fast on the main road, get to that pass first, and wait. Cutter Dell's men knew this territory, Vern Loach especially. Cole had seen it in the way the man sat his horse the night before. Not a hired hand, a man who knew land the way ranchers knew it, from the ground up, from the years of moving through it. They would be at the pass. Cole angled south, deeper into the open range, or adding distance, but avoiding the ridgeline entirely. 2 extra miles, maybe 3. But they would come out below the pass and rejoin the road on the far side of it. Nora noticed the turn. You are going around something, she said. Yes. The pass. He looked at her. I know this land, too, she said. Earl's ranch is at the edge of it. I have ridden these flats before. She paused. Smart. They pushed on. The sun was dropping toward the western ridge when Cole saw the dust. Well, it was to the north. A thin, pale column rising against the blue, the kind that 3 or 4 horses at a canter made in dry country. Moving east, parallel to them but north, on the main road. They are ahead of us, Nora said. Trying to be, Cole said. We are going to beat them to the road junction. But it will be close. He took Duster off the slow southern angle and angled hard east, pushing into a trot. Nora held the strongbox steady with both hands and leaned with the horse's movement, the way a rider who had grown up on horseback leaned, not fighting it. They covered the next 2 miles fast. The road junction was a simple fork in the trail where the southern range track met the main Stillwater road. Cole came up on it from the south at a near run and pulled Duster down to a walk at the last 50 yards. He scanned east. Clear. He scanned north, and the dust column was farther back than he had estimated. They had beaten it. but not by much. "Ride," he said. "Do not stop for anything until we see the town lights." They went east at a canter on the main road now, open and fast, using the last light. Cole rode alongside Duster with one hand on the bridle and his rifle in the other. The land opened up on both sides, low hills rolling away into darkening blue, the first star coming up above the eastern rim. Only the hoofbeats behind them started at about the 2-mile mark. Cole heard them before Nora did. He did not say anything. He just pushed the pace. The gap between them and whoever was coming behind started wide and stayed wide. Duster was a strong horse. He had been rested enough. The lights of Stillwater Creek came up in the valley below them, just as the last strip of orange left the sky. Cole slowed. Behind them, the hoofbeats slowed too, then stopped. He turned in the road and looked back into the dark. Nothing visible. But they were there. Stopped at the edge of the open stretch that led down into the valley. 4 men, maybe 5. Watching the 2 of them sitting on the road above a town full of witnesses and a land attorney who was right now filing documents in a county record. There was nothing to do up here that would not make everything worse for Cutter Dell. Cole turned back toward the valley, or they rode down into Stillwater Creek with the strongbox intact and the stars fully out above them and the sound of horses in the dark behind them fading away to nothing like something that had almost happened but did not. Gideon Price's office was on the main street, second building from the east end. There was a light on inside. Cole knocked. A man opened the door. Late 50s, thin, careful eyes behind wire spectacles. He looked at Nora first, then at Cole, then at the strongbox. "Mrs. Calloway," he said. "Come in." Nora looked at Cole. He had stopped on the step. "Are you not coming in?" she asked. "My business is done," Cole said. Something moved across her face. Not softness exactly. Something more complicated than that. She had carried the strongbox for 300 yards of burning wagon, one night in the open with 3 armed men coming, 11 miles of back roads, a telegraph office, 2 hours of hard riding, and in one very close run to a town she'd been trying to reach for 6 months. She set the strongbox down on the step. "You kept your word," she said. "I said I would. A lot of people say they will." Cole did not have an answer for that because she was right. She picked up the strongbox. "There is a boarding house at the west end of the street," she said. "Tell them Nora Calloway sent you. They will give you a room." "I was not planning to stay." "I know you were not." She looked at him with those direct brown eyes. "Stay anyway. One night. In the morning I will have the deed filed, and the ranch is mine legally, and Cutter Dell cannot come within range of it without a law problem so large he will not want the trouble." She paused. "In the morning, when it is done, I want to thank you properly, with a meal and a clear conscience." Cole stood on the step in the dark, with the warm light of the office behind her and the night road behind him. "All right," he said. She nodded once. She went inside. Cole walked Duster to the livery at the end of the street. He brushed him down and gave him extra grain and checked each hoof and made sure the water was clean. Then he walked to the boarding house and told the woman at the desk that Nora Calloway had sent him. The woman's face went warm immediately. "Of course," she said. "Room 4. Top of the stairs." He lay on the bed in room 4 with his boots off and his rifle on the chair beside him, and the window cracked for the night air. Outside, Stillwater Creek was quiet. No hoofbeats. No one watching. Cole stared at the ceiling and thought about the morning. For the first time in a long time, the morning seemed like a thing worth waiting for. Cole woke to the smell of coffee. Not from the boarding house, from the street. He was at the window before he was fully awake, the old habit bringing him upright and alert before his mind caught up with his body. He looked down at the main street. Early sun, a woman sweeping the steps of the dry goods store, a dog sleeping in the middle of the road. No riders, no Vern Loach, no dust columns on the horizon. He put his boots on and went downstairs. The woman at the desk had coffee ready and a plate of biscuits on the counter, and she handed him both with the simple directness of someone who ran a clean house and expected the same in return. Cole ate standing up and watched the street through the front window. An hour later, Nora came through the door. She was clean. Her hair was back in a proper braid. She had changed out of the ash-stained coat into a plain gray dress that fit the town without trying to impress it. Her burned hands were wrapped neatly. She walked in the same way she walked everywhere, straight and deliberate, like a woman who had decided long ago that the world was not going to tilt in her direction and had adjusted her balance accordingly. "It is done," she said. Cole set down his coffee. "Gideon filed the deed at 7 this morning when the county office opened. The record is in. The land is mine under law." She sat down at the small table near the window. "McCutter Dell can hire 100 Vern Loaches, and it will not change what is written in the county record." "He might try anyway," Cole said. "He might." She looked at him evenly. "But that is a different problem for a different day. Today the deed is filed and I am sitting in a clean room drinking coffee and the ranch is mine." Cole sat down across from her. The woman who ran the boarding house brought over a second cup and a plate of food without being asked. Nora looked at it. Something in her face let go of something it had been holding. "My husband Earl left me that land because he knew I would not let anyone take it from him," she said. "Even after he was gone. He trusted me with it." Cole did not say anything. He just let that sit where she had put it. "You kept your word," she said again, "start to finish." "You kept yours too," Cole said. She raised her eyes. "You said you could shoot," he said. "And when Vern Loach came back with more men, you did not panic. You held your position. You stayed quiet in the brush. You moved when you needed to and stayed still when you needed to. That was your half of it." Nora was quiet for a moment. "Earl used to say that keeping a promise was not the hard part. The hard part was understanding what you had actually promised in the first place." Cole thought about that. It was true. He had promised her safety for the night, and then the night had stretched into something larger than one night. Into roads and passes and telegraph offices and a hard ride in the last light. And at every point where he could have stopped and said the night was over and his obligation done with it, he had not. Not because he had promised it exactly. Because the promise had meant something when he made it, and that meaning did not expire on a schedule. He drank his coffee. Outside the window, Stillwater Creek was waking up fully now, more doors opening, more voices in the street. A wagon coming in from the east, a man on a bay horse walking slow toward the livery. An ordinary morning. "What will you do now?" Nora asked. "Ride on," Cole said. "I was heading north before all this." "Anywhere particular?" "Not especially." She looked at him with an expression that was not quite an offer and not quite a question, but somewhere in the country between them. "The ranch needs work," she said. "Earl was sick the last year. Things were let go. The fence line along the south pasture is down in 2 places. The well needs shoring. The barn roof has been losing shingles since October." She paused. "I cannot pay much, but I can pay something. And there is a bunkhouse, clean, dry." Cole turned his coffee cup in his hands. "I am not a ranch hand," he said. I know what you are, she said. I watched you read a road all night and talk 3 armed men into leaving without firing a shot and navigate 40 miles of hostile country with nothing but a gray roan and a bedroll. She held his eyes. I am not asking you to mend fences forever. I am asking you to stay long enough for things to settle. Or until Dell sees that the filing is real and the fight is over. And if he does not see that, then I would rather have you on the property than not. Cole looked out the window at the ordinary morning street. He thought about the road north. He thought about where it went and what was up there, and whether it was different in any meaningful way from every other road he had taken after every other town. When the thing that had kept him in place was finished. How bad is the fence line? He said. Nora's expression did not change much, but something behind her eyes did. 2 sections down, she said. Maybe 3. I will look at it, Cole said. That is all I'm asking. He stood up and put on his hat. Thank you for the coffee, he said to the woman behind the counter. Any time, the woman said. Cole walked to the door. He stopped with his hand on the frame. Mrs. Calloway, he said. Nora, she said. Nora. He looked at the morning street, the clean light, the town already moving. In about 10 years, when someone asks how the ranch was saved, make sure they know it was the strongbox that mattered. You are the one who pulled it out of that fire. There was a silence behind him. And you are the one who handed me the time to do it, she said. Cole stepped out into the morning. Duster was waiting at the post outside the livery, already saddled by the livery boy who had figured out from the look of the man who had come in last night that early was better than late. Cole checked the cinch, checked the bridle, ran his hand along the horse's neck. Nora came out of the boarding house 2 minutes later with a strongbox under one arm and a light travel bag under the other. She walked to the post where she had arranged for a horse to be ready, and she mounted up with the ease of someone who had been climbing into saddles since before she could properly reach the stirrup. She looked at Cole. He looked at her. They rode out of Stillwater Creek together in the clean early light, heading for the ranch at the edge of the flats. With the deed filed and the land secured and whatever came next, waiting out there in the wide open country, the way things always waited. Not easy, not safe, not finished, but real and worth riding toward. The gray roan walked steady beneath Cole and the morning spread out ahead of them, and there was not a single rider on the horizon in any direction. For now was enough.